So now we're going to talk about the buyer's journey, more specifically the business-to-business buyer's journey, and along with some explanation as to how it's different than the consumer buyer's journey. Okay? One of the key things is this buyer's journey, it starts with a problem. Okay? It really starts with a business problem. Right? B2B buyers, business buyers, they typically buy if they have a problem to solve that they need to solve. You know, they might buy if they have a tremendous opportunity to help their business, but they often buy because there is a problem, either due to something that needs to be solved or losing a competitive advantage, or seeing that they're going to lose a competitive advantage, okay? So it starts with a business problem. That's important. And then the next thing that happens is, when you talk about the Drucker drill is, what are the business problems you solve? And then it's who exactly has that business problem? Who has it, right? So that's coming up with who are the target companies, the target organizations, the vertical industries, and then the individuals that would be part of the buying team, right? So as a marketer, when you look at this buyer's journey, you start with a business problem. You're going to create a campaign around that business problem, not necessarily around your product, okay? Because people care about the problems. And then you're going to target it at exactly who you've identified has that business problem and needs to solve it, okay? And again, that's going to be a buying team typically. There's going to be an important person that would be the person that raises their hand and says, yes, I have this business problem and I need to solve it. And then he's going to have a buying team, probably the person that's going to be using the product day to day, probably his or her boss. Will be part of that approval, that buying process, and then probably someone higher up who has to approve it, right? So the who is actually a group of people. So there's actually several of these buyer's journeys, right? So if you're creating a campaign using the buyer's journey around a problem, you know, who you're going after, you got to come up with names, right? You got to come up with a list of names that you're going after, and there's a lot of ways to do that. But ultimately, if you've targeted correctly, right, then around each business problem, going to the people you're talking about, they're going to go through a very distinct journey, a very distinct buyer's journey. And where I first heard about this concept for B2B was from Hugh Macfarlane in Australia at Align.me. Wonderful guy, great company down there. And it really starts with that B2B buyers go through a very distinct journey. And you can absolutely count on this is the way it almost always is going to happen. All right. So it's going to start with what state are these people in? If you've targeted correctly, they're going to be in one of a few different states. Right. One is going to be untroubled and unaware. Okay. What does that mean? It means, well, right now they don't know yet that they have the problem. Okay, they either have it and don't know it yet, or they don't quite have the problem yet, but they're going to have it soon. Okay, and it's often the case at that same time that they're unaware that you exist as a vendor, right? Two things that are very important to know, because you want to talk about those people and that problem very differently if they're at that stage. You want to help get them troubled. You want them to learn about the problem. You want them to learn about the trends related to the problem. And of course, you want to make them at least aware that you exist, right? That you are a vendor, that you have a product that addresses or is related to solving this problem. Okay? Very important, right? So you can talk to them there. In your campaign, you need content there, advertising, editorial is important there. Very, very good stuff, okay? Then people are going to progress to the next one, to where they are, where they have interest established, right? So from untroubled and unaware, when you get them exiting this stage, going into here, you've made them aware that you exist, right? You've started to get them troubled, right? So now that they're a little troubled, they've got interest established in this problem or the trends related to this problem, right? They want to learn more. It's education. They want to learn more about this problem. They want to learn more about these trends. Maybe they're not sure why, but they want to, right? They want to learn more about it, and there you want to educate, educate, educate. You want to continue to make sure they're aware that you're a player, that you're a vendor in this space, that you know this problem, and that you can potentially help them. But really, you just want to get them educated, okay? And at this point, you want to start to position yourself in this category. Okay? Then they're going to progress to a very important phase called acknowledge problem. Okay? This is when the buyer, right, from this buying team, the key buyer, the person that would raise their hand and say, yes, I have this problem. This is where that person, that man or woman, goes, oh my God, I have this business problem and I'm tasked with solving it at my organization, okay? Very, very important, very, very potentially even emotional phase for them, as to where they're actually like, wow, okay, we've got this problem, I have to solve it. Now I really need to get educated. I need to know as much as possible about this problem, other people that have had this problem, what's the impact of not solving this problem, you know, just I want to dig into this deep. I want to learn as much about this problem as possible, right? So this is more in-depth type of content as a marketer that you want to be pushing out at this point. At Interest Established, you could be doing kind of lighter, higher level content, high level thought leadership editorial. Acknowledge problem is more in-depth pieces about this problem or about these trends related to the problem, about other companies that have had this problem and the impact, okay? Right? Then, very predictably, they will then progress to the next phase, which is where they're actively looking for a solution, okay? Now, at this case, at this stage, what they're really looking for, what are the different ways I can approach solving this problem, right? Doesn't mean they're actually looking for a vendor. They might not even know that people have a particular solution for this problem, right? At this point, they're looking for, what's the approach, right? What are the different ways I can approach solving this problem? If I wanted to solve this in-house with my people, how would I do that? If I wanted to build a solution with a systems integrator or a handyman, whatever, if I wanted to build something custom to solve this problem, what does that look like? And then it's, okay, are there actually solutions to this problem available in the marketplace? Do they already exist? And I can look at them, right? You're really looking for what's the range of approaches that I can take to solving this problem, right? So as a marketer, you want to make them aware of that, right? You're part of the last group, but you want to make them aware of, here's what it looks like to try to solve it yourself in-house. If you want to build something, here's what that looks like. And then, hey, there are people, there are companies, there are organizations that solve this kind of problem. So, you know, learn about them. But that's really what they're looking for, and that's a distinct phase that people with that problem are going to go through, right? Then they're finally going to progress to, they are going to evaluate solutions. Okay? Now this is where they're going to evaluate a short list of solutions, right? They're going to evaluate the companies that they see as being in the box, right? 2 to 3 vendors that seem credible, that seem preferable to the other alternatives. They're going to do some in-depth research on 2 to 3 solutions so they can make a very good risk-averse, defendable solution. You know, there is a little CYA involved here. And then from this, you know, in this phase as a marketer, this is when you really now are finally talking about your product, right? This is how your product solves that problem. Here's the features, here's the functions, here's why it is better, faster, cheaper than the other 2 companies, the other 2 solutions that are in the box with your product. This is where you want to really, for the first time, differentiate and talk about how you're different than the other 2 to 3 vendors that they're likely looking at there, right? And then, you know, they're going to choose one of them. This is the phase where you're talking about sales tools, you're talking about collateral, all the stuff that you would kind of consider as obvious as these are marketing, this is the marketing content you need to succeed in B2B, right? Sales training, partner training, reseller training, that all exists here. So it is important, but understanding that they're going to go through all of these phases of their buying journey to solve their problem, you really need to create a campaign, create content and messaging for each phase of this journey and help them along this journey. Because as you do that, as you help them understand that maybe they have a problem they don't know about, help educate them on it, help them learn deeply about it, let them know all the real alternatives, then you're much more likely to be in that box of 2 to 3 vendors and to get a fair shot at being evaluated in depth. So that's the B2B buyer's journey, and look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you.